Hey guys, what's up? It's Karl here, back with another episode. Hope you all enjoyed the Apple event the other day. We've got some brand new stuff already into the studio. This is the 8th gen iPad. This was of course just announced. It's available technically tomorrow for most people. So hopefully this is your very first look and unboxing of the 2020 iPad. According to Apple, this is the most popular iPad, and I'm just thinking because it's the cheapest. It comes in at $329. So let's get into the box and I'll share with you all of the updates that we've got. So this still remains one of the few Apple products that we actually need a knife for. There is no pull tab yet. And plastic off. And on the back, you can actually see I have the 128 gig model, of course, Wi-Fi plus cellular. And I would say for most people, stick to the base model. It's 32 gigs, especially for entry-level devices. So $329 if you want to get the extra storage, 128 gigs. You're tacking on an extra $100, so $429. You can see the silhouette of the iPad, and the design hasn't changed. It does still come in 3 different colorways. So I have space gray. You can also get it in silver as well as gold. And out of the box here that comes. Where's my design by California in Apple family? And unlike the iPhone 12, of course, upcoming, rumored, but pretty much confirmed, that is no longer getting a little charging dongle. And you'll actually have to pay extra for this. But because Apple says this is usually the first iPad that people are still buying, they are still thankfully, honestly, thankfully including a little charging brick. And of course, USB-C to Lightning cable. Inside, I'm sure we're gonna see some Apple stickers. Almost thought I lost those for a sec, but also we've got the user manuals, all stuffed iPad in case you wanna have some extra bedtime reading material. And as the iPad boots up, you can see it has the same form factor as before. So the same 10.2 inch display. Of course, that's the Retina display, and unfortunately, because the design hasn't changed for the screen, we still have the very large size bezels. We still, though, have glorious Touch ID, which I know has a very solid following, so that's always nice on the front. And of course, when we switch it to the back, we've got an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera, the on and off button located up top, and in the new iPad Air that should be dropping around October, that's actually the new Touch ID location. Around the sides, we of course have the volume rockers. And lastly, on the bottom, of course, Lightning port, the 2 speakers, and because I have the cellular version, you can see the black band to signify that. And last but not least, we thankfully still have the good old headphone jack. And as setup is always super simple, I had that paired with my iPhone. We now have the 8th gen iPad up and fully running. And because there are no changes, of course, coming to the design or externally, we have all the changes coming in underneath the hood. So the new iPad has the A12 Bionic chip, and that came out in 2019, I believe. That came with the iPhone XS. And it's in a couple other devices as well, and that does give the iPad a huge boost in performance, so up to 40% better than last year's. And Apple made some pretty bold claims in performance, saying that this is 2 times faster than any Windows-based laptop, 3 times faster than the top-selling Android-based tablet, and 6 times faster than a Chromebook. Obviously, specs don't technically mean everything, but I will say, if you're in the market for a tablet, there really is no other choice but an iPad. It's just so much further ahead in the competition, and anything that you throw at this device now, because it's the base model, it should handle totally fine. In the couple games that I played, even the most graphic intensive, when I'm switching between apps, everything is running buttery smooth. And that is kind of the only physical changes coming to the 8th gen iPad. So of course the A12 Bionic with their neural engine. And I guess the big thing though, this is probably the first device shipping out of box with iPadOS 14. And that technically was available for download yesterday. So for example, I've got that running on my older iPad Pro, so any iPad device, you can now get that. And the biggest updates coming to iPadOS 14, we still of course have support for Apple Pencil with the base level iPad. We still have to weirdly stick the Apple Pencil into the bottom just to charge it. It isn't as good as the magnetic one found on the iPad Pro. But that new feature is called Scribble. So if I write actually, this will now transform that into text. And if you want to delete a word, you can just scratch it out, so that's cool. Scribble is such a welcome update, especially for students that use an iPad as their primary device. Great for taking down notes. I would still recommend grabbing a keyboard case. It makes the iPad more complete, but with iPadOS 14, I think the device as a whole is just easier to use as a standalone. And many of you know I still recommend an iPad Air if you're only having one device. I will try to use this with iPadOS 14. I will let you guys know in my full review if you can get by. And another big update coming to iPadOS 14, it'll be the last one that I cover, is of course the now side menus found on some of Apple's native apps. Within Notes or Files, it's now just easier to navigate your content, select which files that you're looking for. I think the continuity now between, say, macOS, between iPadOS, and even iOS, they're all just getting very similar, and the transition between each shouldn't be as big. But anyways, this was my unboxing and of course setup and first look, all three of those things, of the brand new 8th gen iPad. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you're grabbing it for $329, it is a welcome performance boost. I think that, coupled with iPadOS 14, it makes this a very compelling device, and like Apple says, this is the best-selling iPad, and many people will grab this iPad as their first iPad device. That would make sense as it is the cheapest. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've got you all covered for all of the stuff that dropped at the Apple event, including the Apple Watch Series 6 and Apple Watch SE. So hopefully I will leave links down around here. If you guys want to check them out, hopefully we'll catch you in one of those episodes. Peace.